Hi, friends. It's Michelle Durant, and welcome to my podcast, Life is a Treasure Transformation of Mind, Body, and Spirit after Trauma or Transitions. I'm so excited that you're joining me today as we embark on this journey of life. I believe that we all have the treasures inside of us to transform our pain and loss. I hope to inspire you and help you find true healing and wholeness in order to live a life that you treasure again. I'm so honored to share this special time with you. Hi, welcome back to Life is a Treasure podcast. If this is your first time listening, I would like to sincerely welcome you, and I hope that you will subscribe and join our podcast family. So this is episode number 58, Eat Right for Your Blood Type, and I'm your hostess, Michelle Durant. And I just want to start off with a disclaimer that I am not a doctor or a nurse or anybody in the professional world of nutrition. I'm going to be sharing my personal experience and my years of research on this topic, and it's just some valuable information that you may be able to use in your own life to help you to feel better. Because when we feel better, we're able to live a life that we're thriving in rather than just surviving. And that's always my hope and goal through the messages that I share through this podcast, is to encourage and inspire us to live the life that we can treasure. I'm also going to be talking about intuitive eating because I feel like these two topics actually go hand in hand. But before I begin, I just want to give that disclaimer that always check with your doctor before you change your diet, or if you have specific needs or you're pregnant. Just always check with your doctor before you make any drastic changes. And I'm going to be talking about and linking a book that I used as my resource throughout this journey. And I'm going to share some personal information and testimonies and experiences in my own life that not only pertain to eating right and intuitive eating, but going to touch on some times where I've struggled and with eating disorders. And so if you struggle with eating disorders of any type, you may find this episode interesting and hopefully helpful. So I found that this topic should be really relevant. That means we have Thanksgiving coming up in 1 week. And Thanksgiving, what do we think about? Food everywhere. We have just tables and tables of food in every room. Everybody brings their favorites. And how do we feel after when we eat all that food? Because we don't want to not eat something and make someone feel like their dish wasn't good. So we eat and eat. And sometimes our body doesn't respond well to all that food, and maybe certain foods. Maybe you have allergies or sensitivities. And that's what we're going to be focusing on today. We're going to focus on listening to our body. And that goes so in line with self-care. And I'm such a big proponent of self-care. I believe that it's our responsibility to take care of ourselves, and that includes what we put into our mouth that ultimately goes into our bodies. So, as I mentioned, the title is Eat Right for Your Blood Type. And the first time that I ever heard of this was many years ago. I'm in my 50s, so it was a very long time ago. I read the book Eat Right for Your Type by Dr. Peter D'Adamo, and it is a life-changing book for me. Then, because I am a blood type A, I'm A positive, I also purchased the book Blood Type A Food, Beverage, and Supplement List from Eat Right for Your Type. And I use this book. It's like my little food Bible. It really helps me. It helps transform my life. I've struggled with so many things in my own life that I will be sharing throughout this episode and kind of show you how eating right for my blood type has helped me, and I'm pretty sure it will help you if you want to give it a try. When we talk about diet, it's like one of those words like budget. We think of restriction, we think of things we can't have, and then we focus on that. We think about, on a diet to look a certain way. That is not what I'm talking about today. That's not how I view diet. I look at diet as my food choices. I want to make the best food choices for my body because ultimately we eat food to fuel our body. I look at diet as a lifestyle because diet is what we eat. And we are all not genetically the same, which is why we each have different blood types. And there are 4 blood types. There's O, A, B, and AB. So a lot of times people ask me, how do I find out my blood type? You can talk to your doctor. You can go to a laboratory, have your blood drawn, and they will be able to tell you what your blood type is, and that will help you further in trying to figure out what foods and beverages and supplements are best for your body based on your specific blood type. So blood type O is the original blood type. It is the oldest blood type. And there are a lot of O blood types in the world. And then next is A. And so A is also one that's been around for I say this, I'm talking like thousands of years, we all have a blood type, and it is genetic. So you will find that your children may have your blood type or the blood type of their other parent. So before I get into specifics about each blood type, and when I say specifics, I'm going to be doing an overall generalization. There are, like I said, a specific book for each specific blood type, and I will link those books in the show notes, as well as his book, Eat Right for Your Type. So you can always find that in the show notes. And eating right for a blood type, for me specifically, is to help my digestion system. I struggled for so many years. I still struggle daily with digestion issues. And that is a common thing in type A blood type. I'm going to get into more of that as I go. But when we're talking about these blood type eating plans, you don't have to worry about positive and negative. That doesn't matter in this specific topic. The only thing you need to be worried about is whether you're OAB or A and B. Before I really get into talking about each one, I want to share some information that I found while I was researching that is so good. And it doesn't do it justice for me to recap. I'd hate to read to you guys, but I think for this particular situation, it's best I do because it's very short paragraphs for each one of these 10 principles. And this is going to be from intuitiveeating.org. I will have the link in the show notes as well. I want to ask you to just, wherever you are, just be able to be at peace, be able to stop what you're doing and just listen to these. If you do struggle with any type of eating disorder, or, you just want to know how to eat to have the best environment for your body and to live your fullest life, and just listen as I share. Just see how each one of these might resonate with you and where you might need to have a little extra help. Give yourself some grace and compassion, and allow me to just share this information with you and have an open heart and an open mind to them. So the first one is reject the diet mentality. Throw out the diet books and magazine articles that offer you the false hope of losing weight quickly, easily, and permanently. Get angry at diet culture that promotes weight loss and the lies that have led you to feel as if you were a failure every time a new diet stopped working and you gained back all of the weight. If you allow even one small hope to linger that a new and better diet or food plan might be lurking around the corner, it will prevent you from being free to rediscover intuitive eating. Number 2, honor your hunger. Keep your body biologically fed with adequate energy and carbohydrates. Otherwise, you can trigger a primal drive to overeat. Once you reach the moment of excessive hunger, all intentions of moderate conscious eating are fleeting and irrelevant. Learning to honor this first biological signal sets the stage for rebuilding trust in yourself and in food. Number 3, make peace with food. Call a truce. Stop the food fight. Give yourself unconditional permission to eat. If you tell yourself that you can't or you shouldn't have a particular food, it can lead to intense feelings of deprivation that build into uncontrollable cravings and often binging. And when you finally give in to your forbidden foods, eating will be experienced with such intensity, it usually results in Last Supper overeating and overwhelming guilt. Number 4, challenge the food police. Scream aloud no to the thoughts in your head that declare you're good for eating minimal calories or bad because you ate a piece of chocolate cake. The food police monitor the unreasonable rules that diet culture has created. The police station is housed deep in your psyche, and it's a loudspeaker shouts negative barbs, hopeless phrases, and guilt-provoking indictments. Chasing the food police away is a critical step in returning to intuitive eating. Number 5, discover the satisfaction factor. The Japanese have the wisdom to keep pleasure as one of their goals of healthy eating and living. In our compulsion to comply with diet culture, we often overlook one of the most basic gifts of existence: the pleasure and satisfaction that can be found in the eating experience. When you eat what you really want in an environment that is inviting, the pleasure you derive will be a powerful force in helping you feel satisfied and content. By providing this experience for yourself, you will find that it takes just the right amount of food for you to decide you've had enough. Number 6, feel your fullness. In order to honor your fullness, you need to trust that you will give yourself the foods that you desire. Listen for the body signals that tell you that you are no longer hungry. Observe the signs that show that you're comfortably full. Pause in the middle of eating and ask yourself how the food tastes and what your hunger level is. And number 7, cope with your emotions with kindness. First, recognize that food restriction, both physically and mentally, can, in and of itself, trigger loss of control, which can feel like emotional eating. Find ways to comfort, nurture, distract, and resolve your issues. Anxiety, loneliness, boredom, and anger are all emotions that we all experience throughout our life, and each one has its own trigger and each one has its own appeasement. But food will not fix any of those feelings. It may comfort for the short term, distract from the pain, or even numb you, but food will not solve the problems. If anything, eating for an emotional hunger may only make you feel worse in the long run. You'll ultimately have to deal with the source of the emotion. Number 8, respect your body. Accept your genetic blueprint. Just as a person with a size shoe of 8 would not expect to realistically squeeze into a size 6 shoe, it is equally futile and uncomfortable to have a similar expectation about body size. But mostly respect your body so you can feel better about who you are. It's hard to reject the diet mentality if you are unrealistic and overly critical of your body size or shape. All bodies deserve dignity. Number 9, movement and feel the difference. Forget militant exercise. Just get active and feel the difference. Shift your focus to how it feels to move your body rather than the calorie burning effect of exercise. If you focus on how you feel from working out, such as energized, it can make the difference between rolling out of bed for a brisk morning walk or hitting that snooze button. Number 10, honor your health. Gentle nutrition. Make food choices that honor your health and taste buds while making you feel good. Remember that you don't have to eat perfectly to be healthy. You will not suddenly get a nutrient deficiency or become unhealthy from one snack, one meal, or one day of eating. It's what you eat consistently over time that matters. Progress, not perfection, is what counts. And that's what we're talking about today, making food choices that honor our health. And when we make food choices that align with our blood type, we will have better digestion, we will feel better, and we will be optimizing our health. We will be preventing disease or illnesses. So let's look at some choices that we can make for each blood type. So O types should avoid dairy and grains. They should thrive to and strive to have more animal protein, vegetables, and fat. That is what is going to make them feel the best and operate the best. And I kind of think of this like, when I think we have food to fuel our body. Think about your car. Some cars require diesel, whereas others don't. And you don't want to put diesel in your vehicle. It's not going to run the best. It probably will make it end up going to the shop. So look at this as the same way. If food is our fuel, then you want to give it what it's going to operate best at and avoid those things that are cause it to have disruptions or just like for me as an A positive, which I'm going to go into next, A should avoid meats. And that was very eye-opening, but very challenging for me because I love meat. I like eating a good steak, but it doesn't always like me because I'm an A blood type, which is the opposite of O. O's thrive on animal protein. They could eat all the meat that they want and they're not going to, and I agree when I say this about anything, I believe in balance. So just keep that in mind. I don't mean just gorge out on meats. Like that would make them sick too. But, O blood types do best on animal protein, whereas I don't. I'm A and I do not do well with animal protein. Like I can tolerate fish and chicken, but when it comes to red meat, my body has a very hard time digesting it, and I want to do everything I can to help my body. I also experience a lot of discomfort when I consume dairy. So, and when I say this, it's to avoid or minimize. It's not to totally not to eat those things because we should all strive to eat from all of the food groups and have a well-balanced diet. So I'm just saying, based on the science, if you read this book, you will understand so much more and clearer what I'm talking about. I'm just giving you an overall view of this. So let's stay on blood type A. We should consume more vegetables, grains, fruit, and beans. It says that A blood types are best as vegetarians, and it's just not something that it's not something that I want to do. Like I don't want to become a vegetarian, so I had to find ways to add meat into my diet in ways that my body would be able to handle it. As I said, eating more chicken, fish, especially salmon, is the best for me, and that's when I feel the best. I'd love to hear from you. If you are listening and you've never heard of this and you're thinking now about when you eat certain things that I'm telling you that you might not do too well with, and I'd love to hear from you. What are your experiences? Reach out to me. I'm on all social media. You can find my handles on my website, lifeisatreasure.com. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic and your experiences as well. And I may do another episode just sharing that, because I think this is a very, very good topic. And it's something that's totally changed my life. And I'd love to hear if it has changed your life as well. It helps to inspire other people. If you're struggling with eating disorders and stomach issues such as myself, I'd love to hear from you and what's helped you as well. And I'd love to share that on a future episode. If you'd like to be a guest, if you've had eating disorders and overcome them and learned how to use this Eat Right for your blood type, reach out to me also. I know the people listening would love to hear personal testimonies and stories of how you've overcome certain eating disorders by improvising this into your life. Let's go on to blood type B. Blood type B, a way to remember, is balance. You can have pretty much all food groups, but I have read and heard that a lot of people with blood type B, their body doesn't like or react too well when they have chicken, corn, or wheat. But they can have turkey. So Thanksgiving coming up, if you're B blood type, you can have that turkey. You should be fine. A and B. AB is a combination of A and B. So again, they do best, like the A part of them does best with the vegetables and the grains and the fruits. But the B part allows them to have dairy. So there you go. If you're an A and B, you kind of have a little bit of both worlds within your blood type. So that is kind of an overview of the different blood types and the foods to avoid or minimize and the ones that you can tolerate and thrive on. Just want to give another tidbit of information, especially since I'm a blood type A. We do seem to have sensitive stomachs. And maybe you can relate. Maybe you're a blood type A and you struggle with a lot of issues. I have had irritable bowel syndrome. I've had just so many different complications, I say, because they've been complicated. I've had to go to specialists and doctors. And another thing, make sure if you're at the age where you should have a colonoscopy, please don't put it off like I did. I knew I had stomach issues, but I was too afraid to go have a colonoscopy. Don't be. It can save your life. I just had my first colonoscopy last year at 54, and there were precancerous polyps that had to be removed, which then made me have to have another colonoscopy a few months later. So I guess I'm making up for the ones when I didn't go have them a few years ago. And especially if anyone in your family has had colon cancer, you definitely don't want to put off having a colonoscopy, because that procedure, and believe you me, if you've heard this, the prep is worse than the actual procedure. That is very true. But it's better to have that to save your life, or to end up on some type of a bag. You just don't want to go through the route of colon cancer if you don't have to. And if money's holding you back, just know that a lot of insurance companies will cover it as a screening. So check with your insurance company. Sometimes even if you have a high deductible, they will waive that deductible so that you can go and have your colonoscopy in order to do a screening, because that saves them money in the long run as well. Because if you end up having cancer, they have to pay out a lot more for the doctor, hospital treatment, and all of that. So make sure you have your colonoscopies. That's nothing else more I could say about that. It's extremely important. It will save your life. So I know that was a lot in kind of a short period of time, but I feel like this is a really, really relevant topic, especially nowadays, because a lot of us are eating at home more, which can be a good thing. And it doesn't have to be bland. I remember the first time I saw what I could eat, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't hardly eat anything. Don't focus on what we can't have. No, don't restrict your mind. That's why I read to you the 10 principles of intuitive eating because they really are eye-opening and mind-opening to listen to our bodies. Our bodies let us know. If there's something that your body doesn't agree with, your body lets you know. And as part of self-care, we want to do the best we can to take care of our bodies. It's the only one we have, and we have to live in it. So you have a choice of what you put into your mouth that fuels your body. And when you feel better, you're able to live better. You're able to be happier and show up better for those that depend on you, especially if you're a mom. I'm going to have the links to the books in the show notes, as well as the link to intuitiveeating.org, so that all you have to do is click on it. It'll take you right to the articles with the 10 principles that I shared with you if you want to read them and digest them more. And for the books, again, you can find a specific book for your specific blood type. So he has the 4 different blood types in its own book as a guide and a reference for you when you're doing your shopping and your menu planning. And another thing, you might have, of course, we probably will have different blood types in our families. So, you can just learn to work with that. It's not as difficult as you think. What I do is I find things that are agreeable with both of our blood types. And there are a lot of common foods that we can both ingest better, together. And if not, I just avoid. I just say, I'm not going to eat that, but I'm going to, substitute with something else. So it's not about limiting yourself. It's about getting the information and the knowledge and then implementing that into your life, because it's ultimately going to impact your life and your body. And I know all of us just want to be able to thrive and to be healthy, to feel the best that we can in order to live a life that we do treasure. I just want to thank you so much for listening. I hope that this episode has given you some inspiration, some information, some tips to implement into your daily life. Remember, it's a lifestyle. A diet is simply what you eat. And I hope that we can all help each other to make the best food choices for our body, for our blood type. And you're all uniquely different, and that's what makes us so special. And I just want you to know that whatever you're going through right now, it's only a season, and you have the opportunity to change with each decision that you make, including what you decide to put into your mouth and ultimately into your body. So I am sending you so much peace, love, and joy. Friends, thank you for listening to Life is a Treasure podcast. Please join me every Thursday for a new episode. In the meantime, follow me on my socials and don't forget to subscribe to this show, and it would mean so much to me if you could please leave a 5-star review. You can find more information at my website, lifeisatreasure.com. And remember, you already have all the treasures inside of you to transform yourself and your life. Bye, friends.